After nearly 2 decades, the mystery of what happened to Alabama girl Natalee Holloway in Aruba has been solved. Joran van der Sloot admitted to her parents that he beat her to death and then went home and watched pornography. This revelation brought closure to the family's search for their missing daughter. Van der Sloot, a Dutch national who is now 36 years old, has been considered the leading suspect in the disappearance of an 18-year-old in 2005 for a very long time. On Wednesday, it was disclosed in federal court that he finally admitted to being her killer. The admission took place. Van der Sloot admitted during his plea deal that he had tried to extort money from Holloway's mother in exchange for information regarding her daughter's death and the location of her remains. This revelation occurred at the same time as the confession. Because of his involvement in the conspiracy in 2010, he was given a prison sentence of 240 months. Prosecutors made the announcement during the hearing that Van der Sloot had confessed to the crime during an interview with federal authorities and with Holloway's parents. He claimed in court that he had experienced a spiritual rebirth, which was the first sign of contrition for his actions in the previous 18 years. Van der Sloot apologized to both the Holloway family and his own family in court, saying, "I would like to take this opportunity to apologize to the Holloway family, to apologize to my own family, and to say I hope the statement I provided brings some kind of closure to everyone involved." In addition, he mentioned that he had opened his heart to Jesus Christ. "I am not the same person that I used to be in the past." The mother of the deceased teen, Beth Holloway, testified in court that Van der Sloot admitted to killing her daughter in 2005 and told him, "You put an end to her dreams, her potential, and her possibilities when you bludgeoned her to death in 2005. After she rejected his sexual attempts on the beach, Van der Sloot is said to have used a cinder block to hit her in the head, according to the documents filed in court. Beth Holloway stated that Van der Sloot claimed that after he had ended the life of her kid, he went home and watched pornographic material. Beth Holloway told Natalee's murderer, "You didn't get what you wanted from Natalee, which was your sexual satisfaction, so you brutally murdered her. I gave the money to the person who killed my daughter. That is unbelievable." She continued by saying, "I don't think anyone can really wrap their mind around what that means." She was alluding to the allegations of extortion. The judge, Anna Manasco, stated that the Holloway family will not find the remains of the youngster before passing judgment on Van der Sloot. However, she did not disclose any other information about this. Beth Holloway informed reporters outside the courthouse that following the hearing, Van der Sloot disclosed that after killing her on the beach in Aruba, he put her into the water, and that was the last time that he ever saw her. She continued by saying that she is certain that Van der Sloot was the only person involved in the murder, but she declined to disclose any further information on his confession. When Van der Sloot was extradited to Alabama in June to face charges in the extortion case, he was already serving a sentence of 28 years in Peru for the murder of another woman in 2010. The murder took place in 2010. "You have brutally murdered 2 women who refused your sexual advances," the court remarked, calling the defendant's actions heinous. His guilty plea and confession marked the most dramatic turn in a true crime narrative that has been making headlines ever since Holloway went missing while on vacation to celebrate his high school graduation. The last time anyone saw her, she was walking out of a bar in Aruba with Van der Sloot, who was 19 at the time, and the twin brothers Deepak and Satish Kalpo. In a transcript of Van der Sloot's confession, he recalls how Holloway asked to go back to the hotel that night, but he insisted that she go on a stroll with him instead. This is despite the fact that he knew she wanted to go back to the hotel. Van der Sloot, who was alone with Holloway at the time, told Holloway that he and Holloway began kissing on the beach before she informed him she wanted to stop. "No, I beg you. I can't tell which way she leans since I'm always reading her," Van der Sloot explained. After that, Holloway gave him a knee to the groin with his knee. In retaliation, Van der Sloot said that he had kicked her in the face extremely hard. Then, while they were on the beach, he took a cinder block and completely smashed in her head with it. He claimed that he picked up Holloway's body when he became afraid and walked into the water with her until he was up to his knees. He then allegedly walked home after pushing her into the lake and leaving her there. After Holloway failed to show up for her flight back to the United States, a chaperone contacted her mother. This sparked the beginning of Holloway's mother's nearly 20-year-long investigation into the circumstances surrounding her daughter's disappearance. Following their arrest, Van der Sloot, along with the Calpo twins, provided conflicting accounts of the events that transpired. At first, he claimed that the three men had taken Holloway to the beach and then dropped her off at the hotel. But later, he claimed that one of the twins had raped Holloway while she was at the beach. Following a detention period of 3 months, the three individuals were freed due to a lack of evidence, and Van der Sloot was allowed to return to the Netherlands. 2 years later, Aruban prosecutors accused the trio of involvement in the involuntary manslaughter of Holloway. But once again, they were freed because there was a lack of concrete evidence that Holloway died as a result of a violent crime and that they were responsible for it. In March of 2010, Van der Sloot made contact with Beth Holloway's attorney, claiming to have information on the whereabouts of the remains of her child and promising to divulge where the body was buried in exchange for a payment of $250,000. The attorney went to Aruba in order to allow Van der Sloot to drive him to a house where the remains, according to Van der Sloot, would be found in the concrete foundation of the house. After that, $10,000 in cash was handed over to Van der Sloot, and later, another $15,000 was deposited for him from Beth's account. When he went to meet with the Holloway family attorney as part of a sting operation, he was unaware that the conversation was being videotaped at the time. This would eventually lead to his being indicted on charges of extortion and wire fraud in the state of Alabama. However, it would take a significant amount of time to extradite him. Van der Sloot was apprehended in Chile following his escape from Peru, where he had been wanted for the murder of a young woman called Stephanie Flores. Because of his involvement in the crime, he was imprisoned in Peru until an extradition agreement brought him back to the United States this summer. It is highly possible that he will go back to Peru in order to complete his term for murder there before beginning his sentence in the United States for extortion. Beth Holloway made the announcement outside of the courtroom. Today, I can tell you with certainty that after 18 years, Natalee's case is solved, she said. As far as my involvement goes, the game is over. In 2010, exactly 5 years after Natalee Holloway vanished, Van der Sloot was charged with the murder of Stephanie Flores, whom he met at a casino in Peru. Soon after Van der Sloot was caught, he admitted to killing Flores, claiming she intruded into his private life after he found her reading articles about him on the internet. He later tried to retract his confession, but the judge ruled it valid. Joran Van der Sloot is sentenced to 28 years in Peruvian prison for the murder of Stephanie Flores Ramirez. Joran Van der Sloot remains in prison for the Stephanie Flores murder. Would you like it? Hit the like button and subscribe to our channels for more interesting and informative videos.